Time skipping your stuff.
It's so big.
Oh my goodness.
Now we're gonna go for the toy box. We haven't been in the toy box in 4 days.
But when we're recording, it's time for toys.
It's time for toys.
Okay.
Fucking killing me, cat. Just killing me. All right.
Well, let's get this show on the road.
With my super crackly sick voice. Woohoo!
Yeah, we try and make it brief. We did it last time. Because
We were under an hour.
Yeah, well,
What?
we were passing out.
We were both so tired. It was crazy. Okay, so welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We are two sisters in fiber coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, in the same location this week. As per commentary for everybody, I'm going to talk as loudly as possible, but I caught a head cold Wednesday. So my voice is what you get. I'm Jocelyn. My co-host is
Diana.
and we're both drinking coffee because it's Sunday morning.
What?
But the temptation to put on real clothes and go to the mall with you after this is very high.
Ooh. Yes, I need a new notebook and some sandals that are not the super cheap plastic ones that I got for the Natsu cosplay.
Oh, you want a shopping buddy? I'm no longer germy, I just sound awful.
Sure, I'll take a shopping buddy.
I always stay home when I'm germy, to the point where I went upstairs to the top of the stairs and said, I'm quarantined because I'm sick. My sister said, yes, you are. I said, will my brother-in-law go to the store and get me sick shit? Which is orange juice, crackers for soup. In my case, I have to make homemade soups because I can't eat the canned stuff because I'm allergic to it. So the ingredients to make soup, because I didn't have broth and stuff, and some cold meds so I could breathe well enough to sleep. And he was like, Sherry's like, oh, he will be. We didn't ask him. She just informed him when he got home from work that this is what he was going to go do for me. And he just came downstairs and he's like, all right, you have a list? I'm like, yes, I do. But if you hear awful Kleenex blowing, on top of summer allergies, which are extreme for me anyway, I am kicking out the last of a bad head cold, so I sound like crap. I feel fine. Because it's been days, so my body's kicked everything but the nasal congestion and the cough out. You're welcome. I like sharing information.
We like to share with our friends here on the podcast.
Listen, the first time I had a cold after my abdominal surgery, coughing hurt so bad it wasn't even funny.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
I am so okay with head colds now. I'm like, whatever. 48 hours, meds, I go to sleep, I rest, I do the appropriate things, and then I'm done. Like, I've kicked it out of my system. I stay away from people for a good 4 or 5 days, and I make sure I'm on medications so that I don't spread the germs, and then I just make sure I stay clean. Coughing now doesn't hurt near as much.
I cannot afford to get sick right now because I'm getting married in 13 days. I'm getting married in 13 days. I'm getting married in... That's a very real number of days.
It was always a real number of days. It's now just a small number of real days.
It feels a lot realer.
Realer?
Realer.
It feels a lot realer.
Yeah,
There's the episode title, folks. It's episode, what, 73?
I do believe it is episode 73. My notes are covered in your cat's hair and little wet paw prints. Phaedra!
I told you she was wet because she came over for a visit after playing in her cup of water.
No. I've got
and she was on your lap.
I know. I've got paw prints on me everywhere.
So you knew that this was happening.
Yes.
And then you let her climb on your notebook, so...
It's fine, it'll be dry. It's
right.
Actually, it's drier than I am right now.
It's entirely possible that that's a true case of worms. So, for all the naysayers out there who are going to point out that I sniffle, I am aware of it, thanks. In this case, it's only half because everything stinks right now to me.
Oh, what are we drinking this week?
Oh, we're both drinking coffee.
Yeah, I have some. I didn't look at exactly what kind it was. It was Starbucks espresso, and it had 2016 on it. I know you gave it to me a while back, and it's been in my freezer, so I thought it out. And
Thought it out?
yes,
I haven't thought anything out. This is my first cup.
I came out of my freezer. Well, it's been out of my freezer for a couple of weeks now, but Chris actually likes this one.
Oh, he likes that one.
Yeah. He wasn't a fan of the was it the second cup eggnog flavor?
That's
so
fair.
I had that bag all to myself, but he likes the espresso, so I'm halfway through the bag already.
I am a fan of espresso. So you're drinking the Starbucks espresso blend?
I am.
It's a staple blend for them, so you can find it pretty much everywhere.
Yep. Oh, and I got
It's a really nice, dark, rich roast.
It is nice. For my wedding shower, I got a really nice milk frothing thing. So
Were you frothing?
Yes, I did. It froths almond milk really nicely.
Oh, good.
I thought it wouldn't. I thought the fat content wouldn't be high enough, but it works just fine.
Sweet. I might have to get the name brand of that off of you because I drink plant-based milk.
It's apparently the same kind that they used at David's Tea when they did the lattes.
Oh.
They don't do lattes anymore.
Tiavana does lattes, which is a Starbucks affiliate. So I had a Tiavana latte on Thursday, which was like 3 hours after having a Starbucks coffee on Thursday. Anybody could tell I was out on Thursday? Now you know. I am drinking some Salt Springs French Roast, which is one of their darker roasts. I like their coffee. I buy it in the bean format, and it's never older than 2 weeks in my house because that's how much coffee I drink in 2 weeks. You guys, this giant Christmas mug that we all make fun of me for that always has tea in the morning has coffee.
Coffee to get you going, tea to maintain?
No, I'm just used to drinking coffee in the morning. Like, I've been doing it for so many years now. It's a habit.
Mm.
And I mean, I could have worse habits.
Okay, it's just
or still have worse
too
habits.
warm for this. I was so excited this morning when I looked at the weather on my phone and it said it was like 18 degrees with a high of 21.
Yes.
And it is in fact exactly that outside.
Yes.
It's just a touch humid. So it's just a little too sticky for the wool shawl.
So what you're saying is I'll be really comfortable in a skirt, some tights, and a nice light cardigan?
Yeah, that'll be perfect. There's like a lovely north breeze.
Oh, I have that Superwash Merino, really seriously annoyed grapes shawl.
That'll be perfect.
Oh my god, guys. There's going to be some cool threads next week. Probably not. I was actually wearing my, it's just off camera, so I'm looking at it, so it doesn't really help anybody. I was wearing my Stephen West shawl this week, yeah.
I'll hold it up here. Impromptu cool threads.
Impromptu cool threads. It's the Boneyard one that I made. It's his free pattern. And I did it out of...
This is huge. I'm putting it down now.
Well, there's a reason why I was wearing it, because it was huge, and I wanted to keep my chest warm, so that the...
I'm sorry, I'll pick that up after.
That's fine. It's acrylic yarn. I don't really care that much. She'll be fine with it. Worst case scenario, we find a cat sleeping on it. That's not a hardship in my house. I wanted to keep my chest warm, to keep the congestion out of my chest, so that was just big and bulky, and I had my sweater on, and I had that stacked up right up in here, which just made my chest feel really good.
Right, I suppose I could really quickly say this is the Meadowside shawl.
Ooh, it is.
This is a Meadowside shawl. I saw this as a sample in Wolseley Wool one day.
I remember that.
And I was just absolutely enamored with it. And so I bought the pattern right there in the store. And then I was looking around at this other yarn. Coincidentally, I found this, the rainbowy colored yarn. And it happened to be exactly the kind of yarn that the pattern called for. So I'm like, okay, well now I just need this other cooler color of yarn, which is the grays and blues. Because you do 2 rows of the brightly colored one and 2 rows of the more neutrally one. And
more neutrally one.
Yeah. Well,
your wordage is amazing, man. I love it. 10 a.m., 10 p.m., doesn't matter.
Well, it's noon right now, and I've got coffee in me, so I've got all the words. I have the
all
best words.
Which is great, because my voice sounds like crud. I sound like a man, even more than usual. It is wonderful. I don't have a really sort of, like, I don't have a very overly feminine voice. I have, like, a fairly deep voice. It doesn't really bother me. I'm 5'10" and I have a big voice. I'm not a tiny person. I should have a big voice. I sneeze like a pixie queen. These are things that are true facts.
This is true. This is
But
a
when
very
I'm
true
sick, it sounds even more like gravelly. So like I sound like I've had a 20-year pack-a-day smoking habit. I don't. But boy, do I sound like it right now.
Other things. This is the Lindsay Slouch. It is a crocheted item.
Right.
If you untie this bow at the top here, it can in theory be a cowl. I have never once worn it as a cowl. I like it as a hat.
I should look up that pattern.
You should.
We'd have almost matching hats. And I'll explain why this hat's been on my brain.
And then I have socks as
Oh
well.
my god! I wore one shawl because I was sick at home in a basement.
I wore it all. I was like, oh, it's 19 degrees. I'm going to wear a hat because I also had a shower right before I came. So, like, a hat is a necessary thing to cover up freshly washed hair.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
fair.
oh, it's 19 degrees. I'm going to put on a shawl. And then I saw one of my hand knit socks sitting in the clean laundry pile that I haven't put away yet. So I went rifling through it to find the other sock.
That's hilarious.
So, yes, I wore the socks specifically so I could wear all of the things. And I feel good.
I have very few t-shirts that are not deep V cleavage because of the size of my chest. So I'm wearing one of my shirts that is not deep V cleavage. This is all the thought I put into it, guys. I assumed you did not want to see excessive boobie.
Fair enough.
And we've gone from there. Alright.
Okay, now that we've digressed already.
Yeah, we're going to take a stop, take a break so I can make a cut because I got to blow my nose.
Okay, we're on to woolly workings.
Woolly workings.
We're on to some woolly workings.
Alright, I have 3 projects.
2, as usual. Because, you know, I'm so excited. We are blocking this shawl next Sunday.
We are.
I'm hosting a blocking party. Not a block party, a blocking party.
A blocking. Hey, I wrote blocking on the Facebook event. It's
I know.
you, me, and Miss Reds.
Yep.
And a lot of mats and water.
They're going to bring all of their mats and all of their pins.
We are, just so that we're covered.
And I'm going to have the shawl sitting in a sink of water when they arrive. And we're going to pin out my shawl for like 2 hours.
And then have lunch.
And then have lunch.
And then do knit club.
Yes.
And I'll be there before that because we have to record.
Yeah. So,
I'll be there before the shawl hits the water.
So I'm going to have a finished object next Sunday.
Isn't this exciting, you guys? We won't be able to show you. We'll have to insert photos at the end because that's just how that works. But
yes. But it will be done.
It's going to be so good. All right. As we've all grown accustomed to me saying, I have been working at my 2 at a time toe-up socks. We're at the heel now.
Woo!
We're actually like 2 or 3 rows short of the heel, so I'm just sort of puttering on that. It is in the Die For You Dreaming of Spring colorway, which is so freaking pretty. So we're almost at the Fish Lips Kiss heel. It'll be my first time doing this heel, so it's going to be interesting because I've never done that heel before. It's a short row toe-up heel, so I'm not stretching that far. But I am trying different types of heels till I find one that I really, really like. And on Diana's January socks that she made too long, that's the heel that's on them, and I have them now. They were surprise gift socks for me. I quite enjoyed on those socks, so I'm thinking might be one of my favorite heels for ones I've tried. But I finally found a toe box pattern that works with my low vision and not being able to see the stitches. I have very, very little tiny holes that I can't see, so I'm going to pretend they're not there.
I don't think you even have any tiny little...
I don't know.
I don't see any little holes.
Even better. Sighted people can't see holes, and neither can the blind lady. This is good. So we're working on that. I have very big feet, you guys. I have a size, technically 10 or 11 ladies' foot, and they're very long. Thankfully, I'm flat-footed, so that helps a bit, because then it doesn't matter where the arch in the shoe is. It's usually quite comfortable. But they're very long feet, so as my niece points out, almost her entire foot fits into the front part of my socks.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but she's still pretty tiny. She's tall, but she's otherwise pretty tiny.
She's like a size 7 lady's foot.
Oh, well, it's still smaller than me.
Yeah. Well, she's still technically shorter than you, too.
Yeah, not for long, though. Nothing's grown like a weed.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. I got photos from her and her grandmother the other day. They were getting henna tattoos at the Fringe Festival out in Saskatoon. And I was like, fancy pantsy.
I scrubbed at my henna tattoo from...
Why, you didn't want to be fairy tale labeled for another week?
I figured if I started scrubbing at it now, it might actually be gone by the time I'm wearing my sheer topped wedding dress.
Nah, if it isn't, we're so taking an arty photo.
No, it's I'm not
Though,
gonna do that, but it
I'm,
actually came off pretty easily today.
as a sidebar, I'm waiting on a couple of photos from Mr. B and a few of my other friends from the convention, and then the very first Patreon video montage will be ready to go up.
Ooh, that's
I've
exciting.
been learning new editing software, so I do apologize, because I figured if anybody should get the fancy new editing software right away, it's the people who are actually helping fund the fancy new editing software.
Makes sense to me.
So that's coming to the Patreon subscribers here shortly. I'm going to aim to have, like, because we're into August now, so I'm going to aim to have July's perk up by the middle of the following month. So that gives me a good 10 to 15 days to get it up and make sure it's running properly.
Cool.
It also means for things like September, when I'm recording the Fiber Festival and then we're immediately going to Knit City, I can do the Fiber Festival and just be a little bit late with August's Patreon perk, and then September's can be the Knit City. So rather than having it here, you guys will see what we've bought, but the primary vlog will be a Patreon perk.
I'm glad you're organizing all that because I almost didn't even follow that. If you need me to contribute anything, just let me know.
Absolutely. I love watching people go and do like mini vlogs and stuff, but I like them as Instagram stories. When it takes over the entire podcast, I feel like the podcast gets derailed, and then it sounds a lot more like, well, we got to go somewhere and you didn't. Ha 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 ha. Whether you intended or not. Then I feel a little sad because I didn't get to go. It's like, you know,
FOMO.
yeah, lots. So, you know, talking about Knit City and the Fiber Festival in relation to what we bought and who we saw, that's great. But the showing, I think that should be separate. So I was like, no, that makes a good Patreon perk. Let's do that. Also, I need to think of Patreon perks. I'm doing the best I can, folks. Ooh, you get to go.
Okay, well, you talked about socks, so
I did.
I just now did a row on this sock, so it counts.
Oh, jeez.
I've been dedicating all of my knitting time to knitting on the shawl, which also has a sad amount of progress on it.
Well,
I have a
week, ma'am, you
toe.
are busting butt.
Oh, I am. Tomorrow is a holiday. Guess what I'm doing all day?
It's not a stat holiday.
It's a holiday for me.
It's a holiday for a lot of people, but not for everybody.
Okay. Well, it's a
Yes.
holiday for me, so I'm doing nothing but knitting and binge watching something.
I know it's not a holiday for everybody because I have doctor's appointments on Monday.
Ah, okay. What is the actual day? It's not.
Technically, Manitoba gets a day that's different from Terry Fox Day. We celebrate another one that's different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in a month when some of the other provinces don't get one. It's a civic holiday, not a statutory holiday, though most places, if they can, and offices do stay closed, but shops, retails, and that, they'll all be open because it is not a mandatory holiday. So malls will require stores to be open.
Okay.
Might only be Sunday hours, but they are required to be opened. Unless you're like Ontario, BC. I'm sorry. I was a training manager in my former life. These are things, they stay in your head.
Turn over.
I'm gonna drink my coffee quietly now.
So this is my teensy tiny little toe, wedge toe. The color is Curtain Call by Midnight Cravings, and it is the second in a pair of socks. The other one of which I have over here. The speckly body yarn of the sock is called Cinema, also by Midnight Cravings. It was a sock set thing that Jocelyn brought back for me.
I think I'm gonna have to double check, but if the ladies are at Knit City, you have to meet them.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Are you girls at Knit City? I don't know. I haven't
Let us
looked
know.
yet.
I want to meet you and say thank you for the wonderful yarn.
They're so sweet, so kind.
So the body yarn is white with navy and teal speckles, and also a little bit of mustardy speckle that's not showing up on camera at all whatsoever.
You know, it happens from time to time.
And the sock pattern is Les Chaussettes de la Schtroumpfette, which is a French pattern, but it is free. So have fun with that. It's just got a nice little cable right up the back, which I can do without a cable needle on the bus, which I was really excited about. And then at the top here is this.
Totally done some sock learning.
Yeah, I put a lifeline in at the top because I wanted to make very, very sure that my socks are the same height. It's very important that my socks are the same height.
I'm with you. Like, there's no disagreement on this face.
I'm just pointing at the camera.
Okay. We're sternly finger lecturing people? I guess?
Yes. So they're going to be the same height. So I'm going to knit the other sock up to the same point and then do the cuffs. Because then I'll know how much I have left.
That works.
Or if I have a lot of extra body yarn that I can add another cable repeat or something. Because I would like to use all of this lovely yarn. Bless you. Oh, that wasn't quite the right word.
Close enough.
Close enough.
We're going to do another cut because nobody needs to hear me blow my nose. So if you thought I drank a lot of liquid before,
Oh, fun.
check out this. All right. I fell behind watching knitting YouTubers.
Perish the thought.
Now, I take pride in the fact that I can keep up with a lot of people, and I love watching their podcasts. But boy, oh, this week, I lost 2 days, 3 days of video watching and just putter knitting and doing other things. So I settled in on Friday and Saturday, yesterday, because we're recording on the Sunday here, for some very long YouTube sessions. And I knew it. So I decided I needed to pull out a project that was tiny, that needed to be less than tiny, because I'd like to get it off my needles. On Friday, there's this event called Gen Con. If you don't know what Gen Con is, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not a biggie.
We'll link it in the show notes. Why
Because
don't you
that's
tell us
what we
what
do.
it is?
After I cough, it is one of North America's largest, if not the largest, sort of convention conference meetups for video games and a lot of sort of adjacent nerd culture. The reason this is important to mention is because I am a fan of Critical Role. So I watch Critical Role. Normally they're on Thursday nights. They were on Friday this week because the cast was at Gen Con. They're voice actors. So now you know why it makes sense for them to be like a video gaming sort of convention and a board gaming convention, sort of get the game knowledge out there, because they voice a lot of these pretend characters in video games. So their session was on Friday. So I decided I'd pick up something that needed to have a lot of work done. And the last time everybody saw this, there was this much done. And this is the second of the Triple Treat shawls by Cozy Up Knits. It's a pattern I test knit for them. And I'm doing the asymmetrical one now because I did the crescent one on the one skein, and I wanted to make the asymmetrical on the top down because I wanted to see how it changes. And I'm using the National Parks colorway from Fleece Artist, which was a limited colorway run they did last summer. And I have it's one of the ones in Ontario. Thousand Isles?
I don't know.
It'll be linked because it's in the project page for a reason, because I never ever remember. But you can see that we definitely have fall in a ball going on here, because we've got these beautiful autumny colors. Just so pretty. I don't even, there's so many of them. We go yellows and reds and oranges and greens and browns, and it just, yeah. If you guys listen and you don't watch the podcast, check it out. It is on the Ravelry group page. Like, I've got it as a linked project, and it's on my personal Ravelry as well, so you can find it under the Northern Knits. Some of my edging definitely needs to be blocked, but that's not unusual for me. So a lot of my sort of squiggly will block out when I'm done. But I seem to have added to it.
Yes.
So I have the pattern repeat down in my brain. Once this blocks out, this is going to be huge, you guys. So this, I'm not done my first skein. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this into a second shawl. So like, this is going to be massive when I'm finished. Because I'm already at 50 billion stitches.
No, that is not 50 billion stitches.
No, yours is 50 billion
Mine
stitches.
is 50 billion stitches.
But I've not even done my first ball, and there's no decreases.
Oh, it just keeps getting wider.
It just keeps getting wider.
Okay, so it's going to be 50
It's
billion.
going to be 50 billion
Okay.
stitches by the time I'm done.
Okay.
So I'm almost on my first ball of yarn.
It looks so good on camera. Oh my goodness.
It looks amazing on camera. It looks great in person, too.
Yes.
Yes. But then I started thinking, do I want to make it a 2 skein? It is meant to be a 1 skein wonder. Or do I make it 1 skein? Because I do block the snot out of my shawls. Like, I block the snot out of my shawls.
So good. Oh my goodness.
I really prefer to do it that way. Like, it's just...
That's gonna look
The other
so
patterns
amazing.
I looked at doing it weren't doing it justice because of the simplicity in this pattern. It shows off this heavily variegated yarn. beautifully.
That just looks.
It looks so good. So I'm gonna have to see how wide and long it is once I'm closing up on the end of the first skein, because I might do something different with the other skein. I have 2 skeins. See, look, it's skeined up. It's ready to go. This is a fingering weight yarn. I am kind of tempted to make a matching hat.
Ooh.
Now you see where I'm going here with this one.
Ah.
Because if I hold this fingering yarn doubled, it's marled, but it still has the same color pattern as the shawl, and I can wear them together, or I could do a fingering weight slouchy hat. So,
both of these are good options.
hence the temptation. So I don't know if it's going to stick to the original plan and be 2 skeins, even though the pattern is a 1 skein wonder. It says repeat sections and what section to end off with to do it based on the yardage you get for your yarn, because all yardage is approximated. So, you know, you do the best you can with what you got. So I've got to make that decision shortly. But I knit a lot, because I had just done my first garter repeat lace, garter lace. I hadn't even done my first drop them section. And this section, the drop section and the lacy eyelet section, they grow like crazy when they're blocked, so that they pop well. So like this is just going to and you can see we're not even pulling that hard. And it's already stretching out gorgeously. So I'm super,
so
and
good.
it's such a lot of squishy garter in there, and garter stretches great too. So I think I am going to just make it a 1 skein and give it a matching hat, which I think will be
gorgeous.
really adorable with some cardigans in the fall.
Yes.
Yeah,
That'll be
maybe
really good.
maybe as my airplane wear for Knit City.
Thinking.
Maybe. Also counts because the designer's Canadian, and I think Fleece Artist is Canadian, aren't they?
I do believe, well, they did it out of Canadian, or they were inspired by Canadian national parks.
I think they're Canadian, which means it would be 2 entries in the Canadian knit along that the Grocery Girls are doing.
There you go.
I might have a knit along entry and didn't even mean to do it that way.
Nice.
Good call. It sounds bad, guys, and it hurts. And it's not actually the cold, it's just the lung damage I've done. It just takes a long time to heal. Note to self, when your doctor says you're really sick, stay home from school. You're really sick, stay home from school.
Yeah.
I was really sick. I didn't stay home. It was a bad decision.
Alright, so we're on to my second project.
We are. I'm going to blow my nose.
Okay. I'll wait.
I have this early morning congestion out of my face. I just sound better when I do. Alright.
And we're back.
I only sound mostly sick. It's fine.
Just mostly dead?
Mostly dead.
Okay. Well, that's good. Okay.
Ooh, I can work on my sock while you talk.
Where we at? Okay. So...
Super sad segue. I'm so used to having 2 strands of yarn going and having to untwist it that I watch you work on your socket. You don't have to untwist a yarn strand, and I'm confused.
So this is how much progress I made this week, which is not enough.
Oh my love, you are busting
enough.
some long nights this week.
Yes, I am.
Oh heavens! Okay.
But I am halfway through the chart. I'm over halfway through the chart.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And I decided that the edging is not happening.
No, you really don't have time.
No, I really don't. So that's okay. But timing aside, look how pretty it is. Look how pretty it is. It's so pretty.
It is really pretty.
It's so pretty. My gazebo cathedrals.
Your gazebo cathedrals are stunning. I'm actually really excited to start mine after Stash Dash is done.
And it's actually getting really, really big. I didn't really notice how...
It's gonna be big.
I didn't really... Like, my arm, my hand and my arm are, like, straight right now, and it's, like, down to my elbow. I didn't realize how big it had gotten until I was, like, trying to shuffle stuff around the needles, and it just having flopping all over my lap. Like, yep, this is actually going to be really big.
It's... Well, I mean, you're not doing the edging. I'm
The
assuming you're
edging-
gonna do a nice edging.
I'm just going to do a basic stretchy bind off,
Okay.
with the intent that I will take it out later and do the edging, because I have the beads and everything.
Because with the edging, it's like 6 feet in diameter. Like, I'm making it unmodified. That tells you how big this thing is.
It's like 5 feet in diameter, and
Yeah.
it's mine without the edging is not going to be that much smaller.
No. So
So this is going to
Yeah.
be huge and glorious and beautiful, and I'm really excited about it.
so am I. I'm so excited for you to have it off your needles for a bit.
Oh, I have to show you the
Mm.
ridiculous picture that Chris took with my shawl yesterday. You know how I like to put finished objects on my head?
Did he put it on his head?
He did put it on, and he posed ever so nicely.
Guys, we're posting that on Instagram. Sorry, Chris. It needs to
I
happen.
asked him, he was okay with
The
it.
internet must know.
The internet must know.
The internet must know. Okay. Sweet. No, I think that's really good. Yeah. Oh, you're hauling butt this week. I know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
I'm not playing Kill Team tonight. I'm knitting a shawl. I'm not doing anything else tomorrow. I'm knitting a shawl.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you gotta. It's deadline time. It's crunch time. That's okay. It's gonna be me like the week after your wedding when I realize how close it is to the 27th of August and the end of Stash Dash.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, sweet jumping Jehoshaphat! Go quickly and with great haste!
I'm so excited for this shawl to be off my needles so that I can knit on anything else. I have not been this monogamous with a project since like I started knitting.
Super big segue. We have to go look at one of my sister's newest pieces of art for Christmas before we go.
Okay.
All the swirls. It's so pretty.
I saw a bunch of sparkles upstairs.
Oh, there's always sparkles upstairs right now. You guys when you're a maker, you're making stuff a couple months in advance for whatever craft shows. And we're doing Christmas craft shows. So my Etsy shop is on hold because the craft table markets take precedence right now. Because I actually have dates where I have to be places with my stuff. That comes first.
Yep.
Those are actual honest to God deadlines. So we were talking and she's been signing us up for things and I'm like, oh, guess I'm going to Marshall's in the next week or two because I need Christmas fabric. ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll order some. I was talking with Mom. She said we could do both so I could order my very own inspired. So I think I want to take a photo of one of her prints, and I want to order a bunch of fabric in that print and make bags out of my sister's artwork.
That would be cool.
How nifty! All right. I continue work on my Exploration Station by Stephen West. You guys were so close to Brioche. I'm so stoked. Here we are, which the 6th is almost done. I have about 3 more short rows to do. And now they're quite short because the little tag tells me where to stop. So you can see you don't need to put the stitch markers in. Like if you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, all the stitch markers. I do this because I can't see where the little bump is that tells me where the short row, like the previous row, has ended. So I can't see it in my knitting. So, pardoning the cough. For me, this just tells me where I've got a short row ending.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a visual aid for the blind lady. It is not necessary if you can see your yarn better than I see mine. You don't need at this point 22 stitch markers on a row.
That's a lot of stitch markers.
It's a lot of stitch markers, but it's the only way I can track what I'm doing. Now, even for sighted people, this means I can pick up and put down this project half a dozen times in a week, and I never forget what row I'm on because I can just count my markers, and that tells me how many short rows I have left.
That makes sense.
Because I need to have 22 stitch markers across the length of my shawl, and I'm done my wedge. So, having said that, you still might want to do the stitch markers. Don't get me wrong, I've loved it. It's an extra bonus, but it's not technically necessary. I just actually have this many stitch markers because I've got 16 other projects with stitch markers on them. I'm not out of stitch markers, guys. Tells you how many I own. But this is for the Across the Prairies Cal.
I'm so excited to work on next Sunday when the shawl's done.
I've been puttering with this. Because I didn't really want to make Diana feel bad if I just kind of like blared through it and was done in a week. Because then I'd feel like a jerk. Because I know she has deadline knitting, and that's just mean. Now, having said that,
I'm so excited to work on this. You have no idea.
After next Sunday, you're on your own because your deadline knitting is done, and I won't feel bad anymore about finishing this.
So
and I'm
excited.
so stoked to try to do brioche. But these colors are knitting up, just.
That dark blue.
So it's coming together so
I want
nicely.
Like a sweater amount of that. I want a sweater in that
This
dark
is
blue.
this is the Knittable Fluxury yarns.
Yes.
In the dark blue, and you know what? I was seeing some of his fall colorways. I'll split shipping with you.
Ooh, okay.
That's
dangerous.
You guys, people are coming out with their fall colors. I love fall colors.
Me
They're
too.
so pretty. This thing is huge. Like, look. I'll do a Diana. And the fact that we call this doing a Diana's. We also portion out our food that way too. I would like half a Ben, please. Oh. I would like a Diana-sized amount today.
Which is like a quarter of a Ben.
Diana's quarter of a Ben, Jocelyn is about half a Ben, and Chris is about 2/3 of a Ben, so Ben is the extra large sizing. Which makes sense when you understand exactly how much physical labor my partner does in a day. He needs to eat a lot. It's kind of how it works. So, soup, this is just, and the pictures people have been posting, gorgeous. I'm not looking forward to all these ends. Don't get me wrong. Not super looking forward to that. But, everybody's stuff just looks so good. There's a lady with this like moody blue seascape pattern to it. Almost reminds me of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Impressionist painting. The way the colors just flow from one grade to another. So bloody pretty.
I saw in our knit along chatter thread.
I'm just leave them on my boobs. It's fine.
Somebody had posted one that was like pinks and purples and grays.
Oh yeah, that one's
I'm like,
pretty.
I want to run away with your shawl.
Oh, they're so... And you've got time, because like this Cal runs to the end of September, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad we made that decision so that for the people out there that aren't nuts like me and can like do an entire fingering weight shawl in a week because we're crazy. And
Or people that have, lace shawls to finish in time for their wedding.
Or people who prefer to only have 1 or 2 projects on the go at a time and are uncomfortable with more than that. It gives everybody a chance to participate and enter. And there are 4 of us podcasters running this, you guys. It's not just me and Diana. It's also the ladies at A Tale of Two Knitters. It's 2 of the 4 sisters at Cozy Up Knits. And it's the 2 ladies from Feathered Stitches, who I believe are also sisters. I could be wrong on that one. And I just... Yeah, and it's summertime. A lot of people are really busy in the summer. I mean, I'm really busy year-round, but children and cabin life makes things complicated. I do understand. So,
some people want to do renovations in their house.
Which summer's really the time to do it. The camping, I don't understand.
I kind of get it.
I don't. My idea of camping is room service.
That's not camp. That's not even glamping. That's being in a hotel.
Yep, that's the way I like it. Damn it.
I'm a fan of some glamping where you're like,
nope,
kind of outdoors,
nope,
but you still have all the stuff.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
nice.
I am not.
Feels very luxurious.
Now, I have tried. on several different occasions with different people at different locations at different times of the year. I am not a fan of camping.
Fair enough.
And I've done crowded camping, I've done folk fest camping, I've done family camping, I've done camping with friends, I've done dry camping, not dry camping, glamping. I've given it a fair shot, and it is not an enjoyable hobby for me, so I don't think I'm going to do it.
Have you done hike 6 hours through the woods and then make camp camping?
No, because who wants to take the blind lady hiking for 6 hours? We'll only make a 3-hour hike in 6 hours. I am very slow.
Fair enough.
I'm also prone to tripping over flat surfaces, never mind things with roots.
Yeah, there isn't a flat surface to be found.
So I'm not sure
hike.
that that's a wise idea.
Fair
I know
enough.
everybody wants me to go, and I keep I'm like,
How about a canoe? You can't trip in a canoe.
I'm actually quite efficient in a canoe. Once I'm in there, I love water stuff. Water skiing, water boards, boats, canoes, kayaks, swimming. I'm all about the water. I just don't like the camping part.
Fair enough.
Which is weird considering I don't do cabins either.
Cabin is basically glamping.
I know, I'm just like, I'm indifferent.
Bugs. Heat.
Bugs, heat.
Blech.
I like air
I'm
conditioning.
sure there's going to be the Canada Dry Ginger Ale at the wedding.
Woohoo!
And Pop and Stuff is open bar, so.
Oh yeah, it was saying the open bar includes coffee and teas? I don't have to pay for fancy coffee?
Yeah, there's going to be a barista that we brought in, so you can have all the fancy coffee, tea, hot chocolate, etc. that you want.
Fuck that shit, man. Fancy coffee all the way. I'm going to be so caffeinated when I get home from your wedding.
Alcohol is cash, or like cash bar, but anything else is go to town.
I don't drink.
And there's going to be wine on the tables, so like, it's not like there's no free alcohol.
Yeah,
just...
my idea of cutting loose is half a glass of wine anyway, so I'll take half a glass of table wine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot what I said I wanted to eat when I was at your wedding anyway.
I don't know. I have a spreadsheet, I can tell you.
I don't care. I either said vegetarian or steak and corn free. I just don't remember what it was I said.
Yeah, so you're either getting a big chunk of meat and some Yorkshire pudding, or you're getting a tofu veggie stack, which was very good, and I'm having that.
Yeah, I can't remember what I said. I probably said vegetarian.
Probably.
Knowing me, I tend to say vegetarian, so.
I said vegetarian because I don't think I'm going to be... My anxiety about things manifests in I can't digest things, so I'm going with the lighter meal option.
That makes sense. Though by the dinner,
I might be fine.
you might be fine. It'll be before the dinner getting you to eat, which is something you have to remind your brother that you have.
Oh, she's
to
already
have.
she covered that. Yes, she's going to be trying to stuff all manner of food in my face.
Even if it's just like things like the things you eat when you're kind of nauseous, like soda crackers and stuff, doesn't matter. As long as
Yeah.
you're eating something.
Yeah.
And drinking, that's the important part.
Oh yes, there would be much water. I will bring my milkshake cup home.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good idea.
All right. We're back, I think.
Yeah. What's
Okay.
next?
Fiber Flubs.
I don't have any.
I have nothing that I can show because there are teeny little mistakes in my lace knitting, as per usual. Some of my twisted decreases are still twisted the wrong way.
Mm.
So some of my twists are incorrectly twisted, and nobody can tell.
No one's gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know.
Not in a 5-foot diameter shawl when you're fit. Nobody. No.
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 So this is just, I feel like there's a great speech in here about lace knitting has taught me to just
Relax.
relax and just roll with the mistakes and like fix them if you can't, or fix them if you can, and if you can't,
Let it go.
nobody's gonna notice.
Life lesson.
Yeah.
Fix the things you can't and just live with or fix the things you can and live with the things you can't.
Yeah.
Don't
pretty
worry
much.
about it. Man, we're gonna have you mellow before you're 40. It's great.
I'm so mellow.
All right.
Yarn on the go.
My yarn, specifically my socks, went with me to Games Workshop this week. I had a couple of games on the Thursday. I was still recovering, so everybody knew I was sick. Stay away from me. Like, don't touch me. But I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, so we're not an overly huggy group, that one. So during lunch break, I ate myself some yakasaba. Anyway, fat noodles with vegetables. And I knitted on my socks. Because I had to take a break from my tiny little toy army. What I did. And then I ended up going...
that description. It's like, yeah, we're adults. We're gonna go play Warhammer, blah, blah, blah. But really, you just went to go play with your tiny little toy army
We get this one's
with
first.
other
Who
adult,
was I talking
grown
with?
people's tiny
One of
toy
the
armies.
one of the guys that went with us for lunch. Oh, I forget who it was I was talking to about it. It was this after I was having we were doing some Game of Toba stuff. And Bodhi's youngest was talking to me how he'd gone on a date, and he's like 15, 16, so like he's a teenager. And I say kid for anybody under the age of 30. 'Cause I don't ask me why, it's a thing adults do. I have friends who are in their 40s who call me kid, and I'm 35. So like this is something that human brains do. And he was trying to describe how he was describing to her what Warhammer is, and he's a Warhammer player. This is whatever. I said, "Do you have an elevator sales pitch?" And he looked at me. I'm like, "You need to have a less than 60-second sales pitch for any hobby you have. Doesn't matter what the hobby is. You have to have an elevator pitch. You have to be able to tell somebody concisely and simply what it is that you do that you're passionate about in the time it takes you to go from one floor to the second floor in an elevator. So like 30 to 60 seconds. That's what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because that's about as much time people are going to give you mentally.
Yep.
If they're honest. You can talk to me about things I'm not interested in for hours. I've tuned you out after a minute because I'm not interested. And I certainly don't expect people to be interested in what I do and what I'm passionate about. So I have a sales pitch for my Warhammer. Now, if you like Warhammer, man, I spent 8 hours talking Warhammer on Thursday. So I can totally talk Warhammer. But my sales pitch is I have a tiny little toy army that I've built and painted, and I play war games against other people with their tiny little toy armies. Which tells you everything you need to know about Warhammer if you have no interest in it. It tells you that I like playing war games with a tiny little toy army. Because I do.
That makes sense. That's a good pitch.
Same with knitting. People are like, "Oh, you love knitting." I'm like, "Yep, I love creating things with needles or with sticks and string. It's what I do." And if
I
you're
like
interested
putting
in
loops and sticks and string until they make a thing that I can wear.
and if you're interested in it, we go from there. But if you're not, we move on to the next topic. be like me going, oh, I love history, but then describing everything I love about history. You guys would fall asleep. And I don't blame you. I love history, and sometimes I fall asleep. But it does explain why I can do 6.5 hours of Dan Carlin's hardcore history and not be bored.
Yeah, I tried listening to that, and it's
Hardcore!
interesting, but it's just, that's on a level that I cannot even aspire to.
Where I attended lectures that were that deep
That's just
for a couple of years
that's
in
just
university.
on a whole other level.
And I'm thinking about going back for more.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thinking about school, I learned that it is possible to get a PhD in, what was it? It was like emotive and reactive wearable technology, something like that.
Is that the stuff people put on their heads?
It's like clothing that
that's-
reacts
Oh,
to
okay.
sound or
Okay.
sensory input of some sort.
Why? I mean, it's fine that you can, but what never mind. That's a whole rabbit hole, isn't it?
It is. Mostly I'm interested in it because I just think it's really cool. But I think
What I
there's
wanna
like
do is
medical
I wanna-
applications for it
I
too.
want to charge my buzz clip and send it to work with you.
A buzz clip?
I will. It's
Oh, is that weird
That's
thing
that thing I hang around my neck that buzzes at me if my head gets too close to stuff. I want to send it to work with you and go, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
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 I just want to show up and go, okay, Bold, you want a challenge for your innovator die? I'm going to bring in my visual aid crap and go, there must be a better way. Figure one out.
I like it.
There has to
We're
be.
making an accessibility push right now.
Yeah, talk to your bosses. I will totally come
So-
talk to your company about the ridiculousness. And I
Yeah.
will bring in samples of what is considered normal, helpful stuff, which has been around since the 90s. That is how far the technology is advanced.
Next IoT is beginning of September, I think. I don't remember the exact dates.
Yeah, talk to your bosses. If they want me to come in, I will show them accessibility options for blind people and costs. It's frightening. It is truly frightening, and I'm the one who has to pay these things.
Okay,
So-
I think we can work with this.
You can work with this?
I think we even have a 3D printer at work too.
That would be hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll
yes.
charge and bring my buzz clip in. I'll bring my cane in. I'm ordered in glasses. This is funny. Super not knitting. But I've ordered in glasses and they fit over people's eyes like goggles, but they simulate different eye disorders. So when they come in, I can actually put glasses on your head over top of your glasses. That will simulate my RP. So they will show you what is going on with my vision.
That would be really helpful in designing stuff.
Yeah. It was very expensive to buy the case of all of them, and I didn't care because I was like, no, I want people to start to understand it as I'm teaching people. This is huge. And I mean, let's be honest. If we're going for full blind, I'm just going to go buy a big sleeping eyewear mask and just put it on people's faces. There you go. That's what my great uncle Phil sees. Nothing.
Yep.
But right now, I'm just like, oh, you got a hat? Great. Pull it down over your eyes. That's what you got. Go. Here's a stick.
That'd be terrifying.
Ah, that's where I'm going. Trust me, it is. What were we talking about? I got segued off Warhammer Armies.
We're talking about Yarn on the Go.
Oh, that's right. That's how I got there. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was working on my socks during Warhammer, and then after Warhammer during Gamatoba stuff while we were waiting for things to load. I'm gonna cough again. I'm so old school. I go to cough in my hand and then realize you're supposed to cough in your elbow now. I have to adjust.
So my yarn went out to my parents' house yesterday where I talked about wedding stuff for 9 hours.
Yeah.
9. Okay, well, 7 hours. 2 of those hours were dinner, which admittedly was a really nice barbecued steak dinner.
Still too long.
7 hours of talking about wedding stuff.
2 weeks before your wedding. What's left to decide?
Nothing anymore.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
I'm sure more stuff
All
will be
of the
found.
emails have been sent.
Yeah, I thought that was very cute. I got the email. I looked at it this morning. I was like, I have an email for the itinerary. I went over to the invite. The itinerary is on the invite, but thanks for the update. I didn't know I could have free fancy coffee. That's kind of exciting. I assumed cash bar.
Yeah.
But I can get my pop for free?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. I'm accustomed to paying for pop, so.
Any alcohol or anything non-alcoholic is free.
Man, I'm going to the barista and I'm getting a mocha.
Absolutely.
At dinner, I want a mocha with my dinner.
Absolutely. Do it up.
I am not a...
He'll be there till 9 something, 9:30 I think.
Well, yeah, but if I'm drinking coffee after 9:30, I'm not going to bed till like 3 a.m.
That's kind of what we figured.
That's efficient, thank you.
Yeah, but
sufficient.
he'll be set up right after the ceremony, and then you can
Sweet.
be caffeinated right through till 9:30.
I think that is a delightful option. Oh, I double checked with my ride picking me up from your place for the wedding. I'm good to go. I have a ride from your place to do your makeup to the ceremony ahead of you.
Okay. Too many things. Too many things.
Jocelyn is self-sufficient on the day of your wedding.
Okay.
That's the only thing you need to worry about. So that way
Okay.
if Charlie goes, but Jocelyn!
Okay.
You can go, nope. Jocelyn got herself sorted. She's good.
Okay.
Jocelyn looked at Reds and C and went, I need a way to get from Diana's apartment to the wedding ceremony before Diana. And they went, yeah, we'll figure out rides for you. And I went, good. Otherwise, I'll do her makeup, but I won't make it there in time by bus.
That's fair. Totally lost my place.
We're done with Yarn on the Go? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sewing. You're going to talk about sewing.
I am. The craft market push has begun for the fall, because apparently I've signed up to do craft markets. I was informed of this yesterday, so okay, sure. So bags, and I have done a little bit more work on my dress pattern that I'm working on. The skirt's cut on the bias, so it is cut and currently pinned together and hanging, because when you cut skirts on the bias, your hem can shift a little. So it's currently just draped and doing its rest stage. It's like waxing canvas. You can do it, but you gotta leave it alone once you've waxed it to let it process. It's processing right now. So that's where it's at. Now, I should have that done before your wedding too. Hell, I might even wear it to your wedding.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
So little time and a woolly workings in the same photo, because there's no way we're not getting photos of each other
Oh, yeah.
at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if only I was magically smaller, but the girls are really big. There's nothing I can do about that.
Oh, Etsy stuff. I guess you kind of already talked about Etsy stuff.
Yeah, roughly. I'm hoping once that craft market push is done, I literally have 2 things to finish and I can make the shop live, and I've had to stop it to start the craft marketing. Table stuff, because that's a hardcore deadline. I've signed up, I've filled in applications. There are dates when I'm going to be physical locations in the city with my stuff. That stuff needs to be done first.
Yes.
And I received a couple orders for zippers and stuff that I needed in bits and pieces. So, theoretically, if I haven't gone truly crazy or get sick again, I should have an Etsy shop up and running shortly after your wedding. I'm going to finish the dress and get a couple of other things done. And then I can go back to the Etsy shop's ready to go. So, you guys. Every time it's creeping closer, photos are done, tags are done, posts are ready and made to go. I'm literally finishing the last couple of items, so.
You'll note, long-time listeners,
that my to-do list is shrunk, but it's not finished.
This Etsy shop has been about to go live for about a year now.
Roughly, yeah.
I just find that funny.
My life is
no judgment, I just find that really funny.
So bad. Well, it's just like, okay, we're getting ready to go, and then I was gone for a month. And then, we were getting ready and I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had recovery, by the way. You can't sit up for more than 20 minutes at a time. You can't sew in a sewing machine.
Yep.
Strangely enough. That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that wasn't going to work. I always lose holidays. It's just like October, November, December. I don't know where my time goes. And it's gone. And then we're into January and you think it's slowed down, but my slow time is right now. My busy time's coming up in the fall, so. And I've got potentially school in September.
Oh, God. So many things.
Uh-huh. And, tests and eye appointments and possible eye surgeries, and
Ugh.
y'all think I don't do anything all day. Game of Toba volunteer stuff has exploded on me.
Yeah. You demonstrated that you're a responsible human?
What did I do that for?
Oh, well, there's your first mistake. Demonstrating that you're a responsible adult.
Human?
Oh,
I am clearly out of my mind. Okay.
clearly.
What do we got next?
That brings us to a brief wool gathering.
Wool gathering?
Yeah, I had a thing that I realized this week that I wanted to share that is knitting related.
Sure.
So I'm going to start with psychology is weird.
I'm with ya. I don't disagree with the statement. I mean, it's also terribly accurate from time to time.
So let me tell you the story. All last week, I was so tired, and I couldn't, like, a level of tired that I should not be more than 24 hours after a convention.
Okay, so you
mentally,
felt
physically, I was
drained.
Yeah, it's just absolutely dead, and I could not figure out why. I thought maybe I was getting sick. I took a half day off work, and it wasn't making anything better. And then, I think it was about Thursday morning, it occurred to me that I wondered if it was maybe a stress response.
Yeah.
Well, my wedding's in a couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
So maybe I'm stressed out about the wedding, but I'm not really stressed out about anything about the wedding except for the shawl. Well, it's craft club at work today. I better pack the shawl and take that to work, and I'll continue to think about this stress response thing. I touched the shawl.
Yep.
And instantly, I went from I am dead tired to I've had 12 hours of sleep and 4 cups of coffee.
Yeah, well.
Because I touched the shawl. I was stressed about the shawl, and touching the shawl
made you were going to work
better.
On it. Yes.
So, long story short, if you're feeling terrible, pet your knitting. It might help. You don't have to work on the knitting. Just, like, touch it. It might really, really help.
A lot of stuff is influenced by our mental capacities for it.
So weird.
I feel tired until I make my bed. Once I've made my bed in the morning and it's part of my routine, I get up, I go to the bathroom, I do my personal stuff in there, I get up, I come back out, and I make my bed. This is before I shower, this is before I do anything else in the morning. And I go start water for coffee, tea, whatever it is I'm going to be having first thing. I don't need coffee in the morning, I like drinking it. But once I've made my bed, it's like, my brain is like, oh, we're up for the day. Okay, brush the cobwebs up, let's get going. But if my bed's not made, it's always there, and I think, well, I can just get into bed. But I've made my bed, so now it's an effort to unmake my bed, to climb into it. So then it's like, no, I'm good, let's do something else.
For me, it's washing my face and having a glass of water.
Yep.
Then I'm up.
Everybody needs a thing. Well, that's because I have to sleep with a pillow between my knees. Thanks, surgery. Otherwise, the scar stretches and it hurts. And so to get ready for bed is a process, because I have to unmake half the bed, put the pillow down, climb in, and then pull the covers back over top of me. Because the pillow needs to be made. So when I get up and I put the pillow back up at the top and make the bed, well, it's like a 3-step process. No.
It doesn't matter that it only takes 15 seconds. It's a process.
It's a process. I'm done with that. I could waste my time doing that, or I could just go get my drink. I'd rather just go get my drink.
So psychology. It's weird.
It's weird, but
psychology.
It's a thing. Human beings work that way.
It's so weird. Brains are weird.
Brains are weird.
That brings us to events.
Events. We've been pretty good about not overly stating events as we run across them. All right, everyone, please keep showing us up at the Year of the Sock knit along. We're supposed to be knitting a pair of socks every month while I learn how to knit socks. I've only managed, 4 pairs? 3 pairs?
Yeah. I've got, I think I've only got 1 sock that doesn't have a pair now, because I've started the other sock to this pair.
I've got a couple where I've got...
Those are my June socks that I'm still working on.
I've got one, I've got a crocheted house sock that I need to finish the other one for.
February,
That's
right?
from February.
Yeah.
I need to finish the other one. Yeah. So, listen. Please keep continuing to show us up.
Absolutely.
This has been a
we love seeing all your socks.
Spectacular failure on our part, which is beautiful. I've still learned how to knit socks, and I definitely enjoy knitting socks, but I'm beginning to understand that I don't like solely working on them. I like having them sort of like as a pickup thing, so I don't work on them a ton. So I don't think I will ever be a knit socks for people for Christmas kind of person. But I definitely do enjoy working on them, so I am glad to have learned, and I'm so glad everybody else is joining me along on this process while I do this. So.
And I've learned some things that I like about socks. Like, I like really plain socks because they are my travel knitting.
Yes.
But I've also learned that I can cable without a cable needle, and that is also pretty easy to do, so I'm okay with doing that. And I have learned that I don't really like I like the afterthought heel while I'm doing the body of the sock, and I don't like the afterthought heel when I have to graft it closed at the end. Because I hate grafting, which is why I do toe-up socks.
I don't
even hate grafting. I don't know. really enjoy the process. I don't know.
That's fair. So we've been learning things. It's great. We're well over halfway now. We're into August. We will open up an August finish thread here in a bit. And I will at some point close the July one down. Uh, but seeing I didn't close January down until June,
You got some time.
you got some time, folks. So that was fine. And I am really looking forward to seeing what socks everybody does for August. So
Yeah.
I will obviously now start thinking about what next great big grand knitting learning adventure next year will be, as this has turned into my second year of figure out something new in the fiber crafting hobby department for the year. Last year was crocheting. This year is sock knitting. I don't know what next year will be. You know what? I'll take suggestions. If you guys have got ideas on things you think I should learn how to do, post them in the comments below. I will make a list. I'm gonna cough. Can't help it. I'm talking.
I'm sure we can also have a thread on Ravelry for what we should learn next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there's so much stuff we don't know, and there's always going to be stuff we don't know. And I'd like to keep learning until my vision says I can't do it anymore.
Well, you still know all the stuff that you know.
Yep. Yep.
So at least there's that.
Yeah. So it doesn't bother me. Oh no.
Oh no, you'll just have to knit with large yarn and make wonderful large shawls forever and ever.
One day I might only be knitting in worsted and chunky. That's a hardship.
Such a hardship. You'll just have to make giant, cozy shawls all the time.
I'll have to make an exchange program. I knit you bulky sweaters. You knit me fingering weight shawls.
I can do this.
I think I know enough people I can make that work.
I think so.
Yep.
All
right. That was our... Oh, that's the first of our events. The other thing we've got running right now is the Across the Prairies Cal, which we are running with the 4 other podcasters. It is a Stephen West knit, so we are all doing the Exploration Station. This started in, July the 1st, and it is running to the end of September. So you guys definitely have time to enter. You can enter it in all 4 draws, so you've got 4 chances to win prizes. We all have some amazing prizes coming in from everybody. So, yeah, I'm entering the other draws. You better believe it.
For sure. I guess I should put an FO thread up because I think some people are about done now.
Yep. Matt, we'll have to get the FO thread up for us so people can enter. Please note that with the FO thread, I do go in, I do check, I do follow links. So it must be linked to a project page for a complete shawl.
Yes.
With photos. Because like what the meme says, pics or it doesn't happen.
Yes, a link to a project page will suffice. As
Oh,
long as
yeah.
the project page has photos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I link to project pages to complete things for entries all the time. It's totally allowed. So, that is a thing. And those are the only 2 we're running right now.
Yep. There's probably an assortment of other things. Oh, there's the Fiber Festival next month. The Manitoba Fiber Festival is in the middle of September.
Yep.
The exact dates are in the show notes.
It's because we never remember, because we're great professional podcasters.
Yep.
I was looking at the Fiber Festival Ravelry page. The middle of September's too warm to wear a sweater, but I really want to.
I know.
But it's just too dang warm.
I know.
Last year I wore the Find Your Fade shawl and I just about died.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I might take
style.
thank you. I might take my Stormy Sky shawl because it's sort of like my lightweight summer shawl.
Mm.
That I could see myself wearing and taking.
I don't know, we're having like fall days already at the beginning of August, so it might be okay.
In the mornings, it cools down. It's that mid-afternoon lingering heat. And we still have, and we've got like the dog days of August to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then September, we always have a bit of a spike before we start to officially cool down. So it just depends on where that spike falls.
Yep.
If the last decade in this province plus has taught me anything, we're nowhere near the end of the heat yet.
Absolutely
Though I
not.
really wish we were.
I would be okay if we had 6 months of fall temperatures. I love fall. Like this, with the shawl, like that is my ideal wardrobe.
Sure. I love how it feels warmer in spring on the like when you were swinging back up from -40 to +40, but I hate all the water. For someone who loves to swim, I don't like wet socks.
Nobody likes wet socks.
So
Wet socks are the worst.
puddles and being splashed by cars are why I don't like spring.
That's fair.
But fall and winter, those are great seasons.
Oh yes.
Colors of fall, the temperature of winter. I'm weird. It's okay to not like me. I also like mornings and Mondays.
I'm good with Mondays now. I found a really great workplace. Mondays are great. That's dessert club day.
Jeez. My enjoyment of Mondays has nothing to do with dessert club day. I just happen to enjoy Mondays.
But dessert club.
It's totally fine, but I wouldn't be able to participate in a dessert club because of the food allergies.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't really hold that much temptation for me.
Well, I can still be excited about dessert club.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And with good reason.
We're also going to Knit City at the end of September.
We are.
September. I can say full words.
Flights have been booked.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
I should book off the days and put those flights in my calendar.
Yes. Book off the days. I will get you the flight information this week.
Okay.
Dad's going to email me the
we're
links.
flying out on the Friday and back on the Monday?
We're flying out Friday morning. We're flying back in Monday afternoon. So there is no rush. So we can check out and putter to the airport and then fly home and be picked up after a decent work day. Because I'm going to try to swing a brother-in-law drop-off and a father-in-law pickup for us.
Nice.
I'm on it, guys. I have a plan. Also, there's some touristy things I want to do in Vancouver that have nothing to do with knitting. So the earlier we get in on
100%.
Friday and the later we go in on Monday, the more touristy stuff we can do in between knitting.
Absolutely. So I've never been properly to Vancouver before. I've been
Neither
to the
have
airport a few
I.
times, but I've never been in Vancouver.
I think my goal is to try to be as tired as you so I nap on the way home. Which I've never managed to do on a trip, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay. I think that's the end of events.
It is. There are a couple of other knit-alongs that are going on. Shortly, I'm going to be picking up the needles for the In the Sister Cal, because I've got 2 sister shawls left to go. I have done 2 of them. I have the Chrissy shawl, which I have the pattern and the yarn for, which I need to make. I'd like to have that done by Knit City, so that'll probably be my September knitting. And then Sarah showed off her shawl, which goes out to test knitters shortly. And yes, I commented it and sort of begged to see if I could be a test knitter for that. Because, oh my god, is it pretty. It's got short row shaping and a lace mesh section and brioche.
Oh, all the things.
So fun. It looks so good. I'm like, I need to do that. Like, I really need to make that shawl.
Yep.
And Jamie's got a new shawl coming up that's all stripes and I-cord through the
Ooh.
shawl.
Ooh.
So the level of cozy up knitting I'm about to do is about to explode, folks. Hence why I'm like, triple treat shawl, gotta get it done.
Yep.
That's gotta get off my needles. The second one. This will be my second one, so. Doing that. The Grocery Girls are doing a Canadian knit along, which I meet the requirements for, so I might as well enter.
Nice.
And I know there's some knit alongs that'll be starting up in the fall that are sort of be sweater based. And I do have sweaters that I want to make this fall, over fall Christmas season, so I will probably join in on those as well.
Got all the plans.
I have so many plans. But, right now, till the 27th of August, it's the last push for Stash Dash. Jocelyn wants to get some stash done. I might just count the Stephen West, because I put so much effort into it and get it finished, so I count it for Stash Dash. The Triple Treat shawl and my mom's shawl. And if I'm really lucky, I can finish out Jerry's blanket, which will definitely put me over 15k.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I'd be happy if I hit 3.
That's totally fine. That's a really good, reasonable amount of kilometers to hit for Stash Dash. Jocelyn's crazy and went for a really high one. So, we've been talking about it all summer. If you're new, Stash Dash is hosted by the Knit Girls. We will include the links because they've got a really good explanation. The girls are wonderful. It's Leslie and Laura, and they host every year, and it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's it. That's all I've got for events.
All right.
Are we on to Knits at Home?
We are. We have a review.
I'm going to blow my nose. I know I'm cutting this part out, but you can hear that it's getting better.
1 in the afternoon? Yeah, I hope so. You might be able to breathe by, like, dinner time?
Usually, about dinner time every day I can breathe, yeah. Right now.
Oh, that's good.
I'm aiming for lunch, middle of the week. And, like, around breakfast sometime in, October.
Oh, dear.
All right.
All right, we have...
It's just let it go. It's gonna happen. There's nothing I can do about it, guys.
We have Knits at Home, Rustic Designs for the Modern Nest by Ruth Cross. It looks like this. It is your book.
It is my book.
It retails for $24.95. I'm going to assume that's American.
Yes.
Because it has no letters after it.
Yeah, that'll be American. I peeled the sticker off, so I don't remember what I paid for it. Sorry.
That's fine. So.
I got home and I wanted to take a pretty picture, and the sticker was probably right in the middle of the cover, and I went, nope, you gotta go. I bought it while I was out in Saskatoon with my mom this spring.
It is I have to say,
Mhm.
so my caveat for starting is I'm not super into knitting home stuff, so I don't
Yep.
have a lot of like specific patterns that I'm like, yes, that thing.
Yep. Guess what?
But the
Now?
Hmm?
Now do you have it?
still no.
No?
But I have to
I'm
say
trying.
the photography is gorgeous. I really enjoyed just looking at this book, even though I don't want to knit much out of it.
Beautiful. Oh man. Oh man.
There are a couple of things like this blanket on the cover. I want to make it just so I can pet it. Like look at that. It's just cables and cables and cables and cables and cables. It's
Is
like
that the stripy?
geometric cable throw.
Oh, that one. That one's
Yeah.
a good one.
That is the only pattern I put a heart beside because I want that blanket. I'm not.
I wrote down many things.
You did write down many things. So, I also wanted to say the pillows are nice and an interesting way to explore the texture. I really enjoyed looking at those pictures
Yes.
of the pillows.
No, the pictures are really good. The instructions are really laid out. And again, yeah, if you're not into knitting stuff for your home, it's not gonna super appeal to you. It looks like my shirt's unlevel. It's not. It's just my arms are weird. It's because I keep leaning this way because this is where the armrest is on the couch. So I just want to go schmear.
Like, look at this. Look at this. You just like
Yes.
looks so nice.
They sold the concept of the lifestyle from photographs really well. It should not shock you that on my list of things that I liked, there are many, many bullet points. Because I like blankets, and I like pillows, and I like bags.
Oh, I also wanted to say about they show everything in a nice, light, smooth yarn.
Yep.
So you can see everything, which is really nice.
Yep.
And they explore different textures of yarn and different things to do with it. And they really stress knitting a whole bunch of little samples to see. Just like don't pay any attention to the number on the ball band. Just knit with whatever needles and yarn you feel like, and just see what happens. And then they give you ideas for what to use all your little swatches for.
They encourage exploration and experimentation, and that is such a good thing to do. I also like how they give you what a finished dimension size should be,
and they help the math you to work out your gauge.
So it's like they're not just teaching you the simple patterns in there, they're giving you the ability to look at a pattern from a pattern book and do the math to make a pattern you love into something for your home. So say that little wavy stitch I have in the Northern Plains shawl, I have the math now to make those pillows on my couches.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Wouldn't it though?
I have a nice chunky yarn.
Yeah?
Ooh.
Yeah. So...
I think I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm good.
Alright, as long as we know what we're doing.
I don't.
The only thing that I really want to point out is they had circular placemats.
Oh, yeah.
Worked out in there. And I like placemats, but I find the circular ones are a bit small for the larger sized plates that we usually use now, plus utensils and a drink space. But I've got the pattern, so I can make it a little bit bigger. So I've got a space for my cutlery and napkin and cup. So Mr. B is a coaster person, and you can do that, or you can change it, or you can make big circles, and you could crochet the circles together and make tablecloths. Like,
so many ideas.
Yeah, and I got really excited because I like the idea of a hand knit home or a hand sewn home. I'm slowly transitioning over into an entirely homemade wardrobe. So over the course of the next few years, my wardrobe, as pieces start to fall, I'm always going to have basic store-bought t-shirts. I'm always going to have basic store-bought pants. Like, there are some staples I'll keep. But I sort of transitioned my sleepwear. I'm moving my dresses over. I'm going to start making my own cardigans and knitting my own cardigans and sewing them rather than buying them, so they're the right shape and size for me. So I've made the decision I want to start moving that way. And where all my key pieces in the next couple of years will be handmade instead of store-bought.
I think that is a fantastic goal. I would like to join you in this goal.
It's a wonderful goal. It's not a small project by any stretch of the imagination.
This is
huge, you guys.
Decade plus project.
It'll take me 3 or 4 years.
Okay, well for me it'll take at least a decade.
Well, yeah, but I'm starting sweaters in like a month.
Yeah.
Again, because I got this 87 I want to finish. So.
And you also already know how to sew. I have to learn how to sew and then start making things.
There's some things I'm already ahead of you on learning wise. Yes.
Anyway. You had some specific patterns.
Yeah, I really like the super simple bed throw,
Oh goodness.
which is one of the first ones.
Oh wait, here we go. Super simple bed throw. Page 16.
Because you see a lot of, you see them at your grandmother's house or your friend's grandmother's house or great grandmother's house. It's like an heirloom blanket.
Mm.
And I've always wanted it, like an heirloomy blanket. You're going to have to move closer this way if you're going to get it into frame a bit better for people to see, for those who watch, because it's...
How's that?
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
good.
see at all.
Would you like me to do it?
I'm also trying not to get the entire pattern in there.
I'm going to do this. It's my book.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't mind if we do this with my book.
okay.
So it's really nice. I would do it in a white. It's got the tassels, but it reminds me of a bed cover or blanket that my grandmother used to have on the bed that I slept in when I visited her place. And they're out at the farm, and when they first moved into the city. So my brain's just like, no, I really want to own one that I've made for myself.
In my head, that blanket looks like it would feel cottony.
That's totally fair. I'm thinking a chunky acrylic blend so I can wash it and hang dry.
Yes, that too.
And I'm thinking in either an incredibly tonal or solid color. So something like maybe a Barocco Vintage, which is acrylic, which would be really nice. Or, there's a couple of other brands. Just Barocco Vintage is the one that popped to the top of my head. I'm with you on the photos. Photos are just so dang pretty. And then they've got ones like this.
They show you the different textures with the different weights of yarn, which is super nice because
Yep.
it looks so fine on the smaller yarn, and
It does.
It just looks chunky and textury and lovely on the big yarn, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, whereas
Which is really cool.
It isn't so much for the patterns of the book; it's the inspiration that they give you. I love the idea that I could do it on the really big chunky yarn, but say I didn't want to get like fingers stuck in it because I have skinny small humans in my house and a cat. I have the ability to hand stitch a backing on it. So I could hand stitch, and it would take forever, and that's fine. Let's be honest. If I'm knitting a blanket for my queen size bed, I will take the time to hand stitch the backing to top cover.
Makes sense.
Without any issues. But I could do that in a really lightweight, soft cotton.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of a base to it, and if I wanted to tack down some of the spots, I could do that quietly.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah. So, and again, it goes back to the whole homemade thing. Like, I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? No. I want homemade throws. I want homemade couch blankets. I want homemade pillows. I've always loved the look of it. Now I'm sort of going to dedicate the money and the time to getting it done. So, the knits at home? Yes. Not just for the patterns, but for the inspiration that gives. Like, they've got pillow covers. And you're like, a pillow cover is a pillow cover. But they go through how they make decisions and designs and math for the pillow colors. Or you can do panels.
I did kind of like that.
Isn't that cool?
That has such a retro vintage vibe to it that really, it speaks to me.
Or if you do it because you're doing it in such a small panel, what it says you can't make the different strips different lace patterns.
Exactly.
So you can try different lace panels. It also serves as a sampler for your work.
Yeah.
In addition to helping break up rooms, and sometimes you have really big rooms and you need to do that to sort of create a cozy environment. Some of the things I didn't understand and didn't get because, some things I just don't understand and I don't get.
I really liked all the bits they had about weaving with your knitting.
Yup.
I thought that was really cool. I don't
Isn't it,
generally
though?
go for wall hangings and especially knitted ones.
Yeah,
but
the
when
wall hangings I don't get, but I see how they're pretty.
They combined it with the weaving, and I'll probably never make it, but I really like the idea of combining weaving like willowy, bamboo-y stuff
my poor nose.
into your knitting.
Yep.
It had a really cool effect.
It really does. I mean, I may never do it, but it's interesting. Nonetheless. Okay, so look. They have a doorstop. It's bespoke knitting for your home. It's a knitted doorstop cube. I would not knit a doorstop cube, but I would certainly use this pattern and stuff it for a small child's toy.
Yeah.
So they could have a couple of really big blocks.
If you wanted it weightier, did they explain how to make it weightier?
I think so, yeah. If I remember correctly. This was like 3 weeks ago I read this book and gave it to you, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually quite like the cabled footstool.
This I would do.
I would also do that because I have that wheelie footstool that is right out of the 1980s. Like, it's literally my dad's first set of furniture is this footstool.
The chair is amazing. You guys see me sit in it every other week, but you don't see is like all of my knitting stuff stacked on the footstool, just below the
The
frame.
footstool is rough looking.
Yeah.
It does not look
But
good.
I have a carpenter for a father, so I do have a carpentry handbag. Okay, my carpentry skills were such that my mother didn't let me take shop in high school because she thought the credit would be too easy to get.
Oh.
Because
But easy credits.
by the time I went to high school, I had been helping my dad on site building houses since I was about 10. So I've been using a nail gun since I was 11, which, by the way, hilarious to watch an 11-year-old use a nail gun. My dad had to stand behind me because it would, like, throw me backwards into my dad.
Yeah, that's like the kickback on those is intense.
It is intense. Loved it. My dad thought it was hilarious. He made sure I was safe and that everything was okay, and he had his hand on it. But he let it kick me back every time because it was funny, and he never had a problem with just, I'm injury prone. This was a problem. I spent a lot of time in hospitals, my own damn fault. But I know how to make footstools. They're actually not that hard. And I could knit a nice cover, so I could make a footstool at the right height for my legs. And there has been some discussion because of my vision issues about taking coffee tables and instead of, because they're quite sharp cornered, and instead making me essentially an overgrown footstool to sit in front of my couch that we could make that have the boxes on the inside, and I could do a knitted cover over top so I could open them up. And put stuff in it and close it and put my feet on top because I don't actually put a lot of stuff on my coffee table. It's usually just the big metal bowl.
Right now exempt because we're podcasting.
Yeah, so
and everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table because we're podcasting. But when I'm not podcasting, there's really nothing on my table because I find all I do is walk into the bloody thing. I have to blow my nose. Oh, I'm gonna take a cold tablet before we leave.
Yeah.
That'll cure up the rest of this. But it makes me a little loopy, so I didn't want to be on cold meds when we were recording.
But going out in public being loopy is fine.
I'm just slightly distracted and kind of airheadedy. Don't let me walk into a bus.
I'll do my best.
Do best, yeah. But
there's a bit about design at the end of it as well.
There it is. It's really cool. That was cool. So you do something like that, and say like me, and you're contemplating making your own cabinet storage footstool coffee table piece. My pillows could match my coffee table, which could be the matching pattern in a throw on my couch.
That would be lovely.
Why would I not do this?
That sounds quite nice.
Yeah. And I mean, it's honestly work. Don't get me wrong, but I like the idea of that, it's mine, I did it.
There's something super satisfying about looking at a large project and going, I made that.
Do you know how proud I'm going to be?
Every stitch of that.
When I do the blanket for the bed, how bloody proud I'm going to be of myself.
I did a queen size bedspread for my parents' 25th wedding anniversary a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was admiring it when I was over there yesterday. It's all folded up with all the other living room blankets.
Yeah.
And it's sitting there all nice and folded up. I'm like, I made that.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I made that.
I get you. Hence it's the same way I feel about dresses and stuff and the clothing that I've made. People are like, oh, it looks really pretty. And I'm like, yeah, I made it.
It just, that really extra little thing that I made it.
So yeah, no, I'm definitely finding I'm moving into that home knitted. There are some lines like, I will never own a teapot cozy.
I'm sort of tempted to knit a teapot cozy out of some terrible novelty yarn. There are a few things that are why would you make that? And I want to make it just because it's this most ridiculous thing. So like a rooster teapot cozy.
I don't own a teapot. So I will not make a cozy for it.
I think my giant 8-cup teapot needs a stupid cozy.
If I ever get a giant 8-cup teacup,
8-cup teapot?
8-cup teapot, I will make a giant, obscene, daisy-topped cozy for it. Yeah,
absolutely.
That would
be amazing.
Because, A, there are 2 books called tea cozies, and they're opulently obscene in their gaudiness of teapot covers. And if I owned a teapot, I would make one. But I do not own a teapot, so I will not. But I do, couch, and I just, it's so me. I want an old granny household is what I want, and not 80s colors. I'm making that scrappy blanket. I'm starting it after Stash Dash. and I'm going to do it with the worsted weight yarn, and I'm going to hold my fingering yarn double. And it is going to be a behemoth because I am nearly 6 feet tall. And you've met most of my family. A good chunk of my family was over 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
The couch blanket I made for my grandparents is more than 6 feet because my grandfather's 6'3".
That is a blanket.
It is. That's why it counts for so much yardage, because the thing is taller than me when I'm holding it upright. Like, it goes from above my head, because it has to go from shoulders to your toes.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to tuck it under your toes if you want to have a nap on the couch.
Yeah.
And you can't do that at a taller height on store-bought blankets, because they're not long enough. So, you know, mind you, I'm making it that size for my Aunt Jerry, and she's 5'2". So,
Oh, she'll be drowning in it.
it's a blanket for her bed is what it is, because she has a
Okay.
single bed, so it's going to go over her bed or her couch, so she
Okay.
can decide where she wants to have it. And that's totally fine. But I definitely think, yeah, I'm going to move into that sort of homemade thing. But I mean, having said that, the grocery girl's got a coal and canary candle. Jody got one for, no, Tracy got one for Jody, think? Yeah. And I went, oh, coal and canary. We
So
need to
good.
go visit them and get candles for the fall.
I already have one. I went.
I need
Oh my
coffee.
goodness.
I need
Ooh.
the coffee one.
Oh yeah, there was that really great
Yeah.
something about the barista.
Yeah, I need one of the coffee ones. Anyway, they're a great
I can't
candle
remember it now.
thing here in local to us, and they're amazing makers, but they've got the little wood wicks in them, and they were showing it off, and I was like,
They
I don't
last
currently-
forever and
I
they
don't-
smell amazing.
I don't currently have a coal and canary candle, and I'm feeling the loss. So I'm like,
I've got like
right,
a maple walnut vanilla something or other
we need
that
to
I
go.
got in the winter,
We need
and
to
it
go.
was so similar to another candle I had on the go, but that candle's just about done
Oh.
now, so I can light the coal and canary, and I'm really excited.
I need a new coal and canary. I'm out. So
It was like,
and
what
we're
was the
getting to
name of that
point.
coffee one? It was like,
I don't know. Why
it
are
was
you asking
like
me?
look at the sexy barista or something.
I have
It
like
was something like that.
12 big 3-wick candles, 4 of which are pumpkin scented, and they're all different. I do not physically need another candle. I want.
I was
another
with you
candle.
when we bought all the candles. I too have a lot of candles.
I still want to buy a new one for the fall, winter season.
Oh, I really love the coal and canary can. They just
We're almost at burning candle season again.
They
So
smell so
stoked.
so good.
All right. That was my segue. We talked about everything and how I'm going super crazy off the deep end, home knitted life.
Yes.
And that's good.
So Knits at Home, Rustic Designs for the Modern Nest by Ruth Cross. It's not a
Really
buy
good.
it now, but it's fantastic to just pick up and look at over a cup of coffee. So I highly recommend looking at it or taking it out from the library.
If you're
Or if you are super into the home thing, then it's
what
a
I'm
buy it
thinking
now.
is, because it's got the design elements to it, it's really good on your shelf next to your encyclopedia Stitch dictionaries.
Oh yes, it's
Because
a
it is-
fantastic inspiration book.
It's an inspiration book and a design teaching book more than a pattern book. So if that's sort of where you like to have and you need a book that fits into that, that's a good way to
It's
go.
a very pretty book.
Otherwise, if you need a nice coffee table book where the pictures are pretty, oh yes, also
Yes.
works. And it's slightly less cheap or slightly cheaper than Vogue Knitting, which by the way is on my wish list. I want to own that behemoth. I just think it would look hilarious on top of like a table somewhere to have that stacked between like my Cabinet of Curiosities classic book, which teaches and has diagrams about how Cabinets of Curiosities were originally prepared in the 18th and early 19th century before museums were a thing. Because museums
think I
grew
need-
out of natural curiosity cabinets,
I
which
need
are
one of these
private
cabinets.
collections.
I need
I
one
will-
of these cabinets.
I will show you the book.
Okay,
It's
I
quite
think
good.
I've seen the book.
And then I need Vogue Knitting, and then I need my Bayou Tapestry book on top. Because I just think 2 history texts with the knitting sandwiched in between is very me.
I like it.
Life goals. All right, we're caffeinated. It's after 12. Let's go have some lunch and find non-plastic shoes.
Yep, non-plastic shoes and a notebook.
Duly noted. We can do that. All right, I will say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit.
And check out all our links in the description box below or in the show notes.
She really needs to throw that in there.
It's important.
All right, I lost my cat.
Yeah, she disappeared a while ago and she must be napping.
Well, the bed's entirely free and made. Do you want to bet she's in the middle of the bed, belly up, stretched out? Cat's obnoxious. We should stop button. I'm going to actually brush